moving pictures captured electronically on magnetic tapes. This technology has experienced new developments by leaps and bounds ever since the introduction of the 2-inch recording system at the end of the 1950s. Following the establishment of the 1-inch standard on the television market in the 70s, the 1980s saw the spread of a whole series of video systems in cassette form, which revolutionized the field of electronic news gathering. The information explosion made video a mass-produced article and almost wiped out traditional film technologies entirely. New generations of equipment with increasingly sophisticated possibilities for electronic pictures have also made it necessary to carry on continual development of tape material. The head engineer at the BBC has experienced this process.
This is one of the older formats, this quadruplex tape we have here, and this particular size spool is 60 minutes. This is a newer tape, this is a C format tape, and again that is 60 minutes. So how come that we can get the same material from a 2-inch tape to a 1-inch tape, a smaller diameter, a smaller amount? The way this is done is that the newer tapes are more efficient, and you can cram or squeeze more information in by running the tape slower, and at the same time decreasing the width of the tracks that make the recordings across the tape. This is made possible by the advances in tape technology. This particular tape is just ferric oxide particles, whereas this tape has cobalt introduced, which makes it more efficient. If we move further on, this tape is one of the most modern tapes. This is a 1/2-inch digital tape, and this tape has got 95 minutes on it, so you can see the size of the spool here is much smaller. And this tape is made of metal particles, which is more efficient again than the earlier tapes. Now, the penalty you pay for all this is that because the tracks are getting smaller and because the information is being packed more tightly, then any contamination like dust, dirt, smoke, fingerprints, all that kind of thing has a bigger effect on the picture.
Video recorder and magnetic tape form a technical unit that can only function satisfactorily if used with great precision. Therefore, it is necessary to have high standards of exactitude and to take them into account already during the production of both recording equipment and tape material. A clinical environment in regard to cleanliness and climatic stability prevails in production plants. Precise user instructions accompany videotapes all the way to the consumer. Television archives all over the world try to apply these guidelines despite the widest discrepancy of outside climatic conditions. The demands of high technical standards for storage of video material is one of the concerns of the International Association of Television Archives, FIAT. One of the biggest archives in this association is that of the BBC. The storerooms hold some 200,000 tapes in the 1-inch format alone. Recorded videotapes leave the archive storeroom, are loaned out, and enter into the raw realities of everyday life in television production. The list of mistakes that can be made is long. Every single one of them leads to damage of the cassette and the magnetic layer.
Cassettes can be damaged very easily by dropping them. Cassettes can be damaged very easily by dropping them.
Everyday offenses include cigarette smoke, dampness, touching the highly sensitive tape, storage next to loudspeakers and television sets with their magnetic fields.
What we're concerned about in handling tape is to make sure that it's not dusty, and there's no smoke and ash. You don't subject it to excessive heat. If the tape get very hot, first you shouldn't put them in the sun, you should keep them away from the sun, and you shouldn't actually store them in a very cold place either. You want to look for the normal conditions that suit human beings, normally suit videotape. What you must avoid is excessive changes in climatic conditions. I think that because of the domestic use of cassettes, people are getting very careless about handling tapes because it's so easy at home now to make recordings. In the days when all the professional, when the only way of storing pictures were on film and on professional videotape, then the people handling the material looked after it because they were professional people. I think now, because we've got recorders in our homes and the children throw them in and out of the machines, then there is a much more easy attitude, and people get careless about handling professional tape.
If a magnetic tape is exposed to extreme changes in temperature, the binder comes to the surface of the tape and leaves sticky deposits on the sensitive video heads. The recording becomes unplayable. The damage can be corrected to a limited extent by cleaning the tape in question with a special apparatus. This can remove the deposits from the tape. Frequent repetition of mechanical cleansing processes can damage the substance of the tape itself. The process, therefore, is only useful in a very carefully planned and controlled form of long-term preservation.
These tapes are wound onto the spool with a certain amount of tension. Over the years, these stresses inside the tape may change, particularly if the temperature is cycled. And what happens is that the tape is tightened and loosened, and you may have windows developing between the layers. What we call pop strands. Some layers of tape can stick out very easily. If the tape is reversed, if the winding of the tape is reversed in the middle, and these pop strands are likely to get damaged. So to avoid that, and also to make sure that the stresses in the tape are equalized throughout the pack, you should always run the tape to the end and then wind it back.
Meticulous care every time a videotape is used is the deciding factor in any attempt to extend its lifespan, which is limited to begin with. Careful handling is the only way to ensure a long life for the great economic and cultural treasures that are stored on these tapes. Things of value, if they are to be of use for a long time, expect to be treated properly. And besides, who wants to see the day when badly treated tapes begin to fight back?